A black woman was pulled over, humiliated, and forced out her car by a racist cop who thought his badge gave him unchecked power. What he did not know was that she was Judge Cassandra Reed, the very person who signed warrants for his department. This story shows how arrogance and prejudice backfire, and why respect should never depend on titles or robes. Watch until the end to see how a single courtroom appearance turned the tables forever. If you believe every voice matters and justice must be told, subscribe and turn on the bell. Your support helps us share more powerful and emotional stories every week. It was late evening in Atlanta. Judge Cassandra Reed, a respected black woman in her 40s, was driving home after a long day in court. She wore a navy business suit, her court robe folded neatly on the passenger seat. As she approached an intersection, flashing red and blue lights appeared behind her. She slowed, pulled to the side, and waited. 2 police officers stepped out. The lead officer, Sergeant Mike Dalton, carried himself with arrogance. He had a reputation for teaching lessons during stops. His partner, younger and more reserved, followed silently. Dalton stomped up to her window, license and registration. His tone was clipped dismissive. Cassandra rolled her window down calmly and handed her documents over. "Is there a problem, officer?" Dalton smirked. "The problem is you were driving a little too confident for someone like you. Step out of the car." Her eyebrows raised. "Someone like me?" "You heard me," Dalton said, his hand resting on his holster. "Get out. Now." Bystanders were nearby, some watching as they left the diner. Phones came out, recording. Cassandra stepped out slowly, her posture firm, her dignity unshaken. Dalton shoved her toward the hood of the car, hands on the vehicle. She looked over her shoulder at him. "You have no cause for this." He smirked. "I don't need cause. I'm the law here." As he searched her car, he spotted the folded black robe on the passenger seat, then her leather briefcase. He pulled it open, rifling through, until his hand froze. Inside was a court-issued ID badge. The gold seal of the state gleamed under the streetlight. The photo and name were clear. Honorable Cassandra Reed, Superior Court Judge. Dalton blinked, his confidence cracking. The younger officer gasped. She's a judge." Cassandra turned slowly, her calm voice cutting through the silence. "That's right. I am the judge who signs warrants for this department. And I am the judge who will be reviewing your conduct in court." Dalton's face drained of color. The arrogance evaporated. The bystanders had caught every second on camera. The cop who thought he held power was about to learn what true accountability looked like. The next week, the story had spread across Atlanta. Local news replayed the video of Cassandra being forced out her car and humiliated by Dalton. The public was outraged. Now, the same officer stood in Cassandra's courtroom, no longer with swagger, but with trembling hands. She wore her black robe, seated high at the bench. The room was filled with attorneys, reporters, and citizens who had followed the story. Dalton's defense attorney tried to argue it was a routine stop, but Cassandra's voice cut through the excuses. Routine stops do not involve humiliation without cause. Routine stops do not involve prejudice. What I experienced that night was not enforcement of the law. It was abuse of authority. The gallery murmured in agreement. Dalton's head hung low. His partner, who had remained mostly silent that night, testified about the unnecessary aggression. The video evidence sealed it. By the end of the hearing, Dalton was stripped of his badge, charged with misconduct, and referred for federal review. Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded Cassandra, asking for her thoughts. She answered simply, "Respect should not depend on titles or robes. I should not need to be a judge to be treated fairly. Every citizen deserves dignity. What happened to me happens to people without power every day. The difference is I had proof, and I intend to use it to change the system." Her words struck deep. The case became a rallying point for reform across the state, reminding officers and citizens alike that authority without accountability is dangerous. And for Sergeant Dalton, the night he forced a black woman out of her car became the night he lost everything, because he failed to see who she was, and more importantly, what she stood for.